All set. All right, let's bring the meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock on March 25th. If the committee will adjourn. First action is to, I need a motion to this to accept the minutes from the December 17th, 2024.
I make the motion.
I second it.
All those in favor? Sets. All right, I think we're ready to new business. Amy, you want to just kind of brief us on the project? We've got the description, so just tell us how amazing it's going to be and
Sure, do you want me to stand up or am I good here?
whatever you want to do.
Well, I thought you had some cheese.
Yeah, right. All right, there you go. All right.
All right, so I'm talking to you, okay. So my name's Amy Rowbottom. I'm a small batch cheesemaker, originally from Norridgewock. My business is now in Skowhegan, but I kind of left my family farm to have my own family and expand my business back in 2012, and I've sort of always been scheming on a way to make my way back home. So I built a house a couple of years ago on the River Road, right on the farm property, and I am expanding in new ways now at the creamery. There's been a huge demand for more like tastings and in-person events, and because of my food safety plan and my production facility in Skowhegan, there's a lot of restrictions on public coming into my workspace. And so I've been business planning and creating a design for a sort of an event barn that I can have tastings at. And also really want to get back into raising some animals myself. So I've designed a barn that I want to hold my tastings at, any community events also. I do a lot with schools, and with my creamery, my production space, it's hard to bring the public in all the time. So I'd like to sort of expand those types of meetings and events to the barn, and kind of make, bring Crooked Face back to Norridgewock.
Okay.
So where will this be, like by the house, by your house, or on the? Okay.
Right by my house.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. Well, sort of, I've got a U-shape, extend the driveway. It's gonna be kind of right perpendicular to my house. Yep.
Do you have any questions for Amy? Any questions? Do we have a motion? He recommends the amount of 23.
Yeah.
That's the project cost of 23,000. So you would be reimbursed for 50% of that. You're eligible.
No, the whole project is more than that.
Yeah, so you get
So this is the 50% that you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Okay.
is that just for the siding and
Yeah.
on the
Exterior.
whole exterior
Yeah.
of this building?
Yes. Exactly. Reading through the guidelines, it looks like it could only be used for exterior materials. So
Yeah.
I sort of sectioned those out from the quote that we got from Ware Mother. So,
So that would still leave you with a balance of just shy of 2,000 in reimbursements. If you came back with 4,000 in additional costs, you could have it reconsidered signage, lighting the signage and things like that.
Okay.
Landscaping down the line.
Okay.
Okay. If it's approved. Not just the.
Well, this is a facade program, right? So all these figures are for the total windows, total. Well, the gravel and concrete, that would be in the front of the building, or would that go?
The base in the front. Yes.
Yeah. And the split rail fence
Right around the property, yeah, right around the barn.
around the barn?
Yeah, right in front, like right in front and to the side of the barn.
I can make a
Yeah,
motion,
great.
yeah, to approve, Crooker Space Creamery for the 23,076.19.
I second it.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, how many windows are there?
There's, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the window on the back facing the road is actually window from the. It's one that I'm not purchasing, it's one in the family, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total windows, I think.
And how many facing the road actually?
Facing the road,
Yeah.
2.
Uh-huh.
Well. 4, because you're gonna be able to see the front of the barn.
From either,
There'll be 2 windows facing the river. The river
is
side.
that's the front?
Yeah, the side facing the river would, I guess,
It's the
be the
back,
back
but
if
it's the
you're
front.
looking from the road, yeah,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah.
So then how many are in the back? Face, what's on the road? Like if you're driving past it?
There'd be 2 on the side facing the road, there'd be
Okay.
1 as you're driving down River Road that you would see. And
Okay,
then there would be 2 going the other way that you
Okay.
would see.
okay.
I see what you mean, so you wouldn't wanna approve the 2 facing the river.
Well, I mean, it is technically a facade program. And that was how we've handled it all along, as to my recollection.
People go down the river, y'all, go over to.
Right.
Yeah.
You see it from the river, that is true. Yes. But,
I just assume people would, I mean, anybody coming in to have a tasting would be viewing the whole building. It's not like they'll be hidden or anything, so that's why but I can adjust that if you.
oh, okay, I see this.
Especially since she's using a window from family property, that kind of offsets the 2 that are in the back of the
Right.
building, right?
It's a big stained glass window that actually used to be at my grandparents' house, which is like the oldest house in Norridgewock. So we saved it and I've been trying to find a way to use that window again. So we'll put that on the roadside from Norridgewock heading to Skowhegan.
Uh-huh.
You're looking to get moving on this.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, we're ready to start. I have it already lined up.
As the snow goes
As
away,
soon
right?
as the real spring comes, yes.
Not the tea.
Yep,
And this 23,000 is half of, this is less, this would be less. The building can't be.
no, it's not half the cost of the building. I knew there was a limit on, right?
How
On
much
this-
you could.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
But I estimate that the whole project's gonna be at least 75,000.
uh-huh, including the building. Or you
Whole
mean
thing.
just this?
Not just that, the
whole
whole
thing.
project. I'm aiming for that.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
exactly. The builder is the same builder that built my house and he is, he's just really honest and always on target
Who
and
is the builder?
John Johnson.
Oh, okay,
He's a single guy. He doesn't,
okay.
yeah.
Um,
We have a lot of resources in the farm. I'll be using a lot of lumber,
sure.
equipment, things like that. So,
So the gravel and concrete will be on the opposite side, like the opposite side of the building from the,
it's the base of the building and like the driveway leading up. I just assumed that was
Okay.
visible and
Okay.
needed to look attractive and,
okay, that doesn't include like parking or anything.
no, the part, I already have a driveway that I'll be
Right.
able to use for parking.
Okay.
It is gonna have to be extended a little bit to the actual barn door entrance.
Uh-huh, how far is that?
Well, we're still kind of laying out exactly where it's going. So as soon as John gets back from vacation, we're gonna stake it out, but it's gonna be probably, where my driveway ends now, it's gonna be probably about 15 feet into the yard area that we're gonna start, but I've gotta get my concrete guy down and Dawn there, and we're gonna really just stake out exactly where it's going. But
So that portion of of that is not included in this? Or it is?
No,
It's
not,
4,900.
no, if that's more of the foundation, the base of it.
Okay. All right, thank you. And what kind of siding is it?
Pine, it's gonna be board
Oh,
and batten,
it is
and we're
wood.
gonna stain it,
Okay.
yeah.
I think it'll be a nice addition
Absolutely,
to the town and the
Yep.
River Road.
Thank you, thank you.
certainly from a business owner that's getting national recognition, that's been on national TV programs, it seems like a good investment.
Yes, definitely.
All those in favor?
Thanks, and you guys should, take some cheese over. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
time, I
Mary.
really
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
So the select board will review the recommendation next Wednesday, and then I'll forward you what about it.
Oh.
Okay, we'll be done.
Oh,
Okay?
sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you for coming in.
Bye.
Thanks.
You guys are up next?
Right.
Give us the lowdown, you guys have done a ton of work already, right?
We have, yeah, so, 1 Main Street, the building right here on the corner, Roger Stack, who lives there, still lives there. It's a now 4-unit property, so it used to be a duplex, we went through the subdivision plan for 4 units. We put all the windows in it, new door, kind of interior work. Looking to make it look a little nicer, the siding is functional, the roof is functional, no leaks, nothing major. I'd like to make it match the Upper Main Street, which is across the road, similar to what I did before, so it'll be a darker roof, white siding. We're gonna wrap the windows, just so we don't deal with it. I mean, you can paint windows and trim and it leaks in 5 years, you know,
Right.
welcome to Maine. But yeah, that's what I'm proposing, again, we put a ton of money into it already, this is a rental unit, and that's right downtown, so it's really super visible. You know, either direction, you're gonna keep driving straight, you're gonna run right into it.
There it is.
The estimated cost is 67, 650, we can go to 25, is that right? That's correct. Anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion.
Sounds good. So the motion is for 25,000. We got a second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have questions.
Yeah, maybe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have a copy of my facade, all the stuff that, the regulations. I thought apartment buildings were not able to request.
I don't recall.
Do you have,
This smells is just, I'm gonna run in and check that real quick.
thank you,
Yeah, I didn't read that.
nothing personal.
No, you're good. I definitely, I didn't read that. It says like, residential properties, when you read through that, I took that as a house, someone's personal residence. This is not a personal residence, this is a
Right.
business that I run.
Right, I
I own-
understand
Yeah,
that,
I own 3 other
Yeah.
buildings, so.
Yeah.
This is what we do,
yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
part-time.
right, right.
Sure.
If that is the policy, do you think the TIF committee would consider changing that? I've been thinking for this case, but there are a lot of apartment buildings through downtown that I know we'd like to see
Yeah.
have a facelift, and
Right,
if that's a barrier,
Yes.
as I recall,
And that's our goal, is like.
that's what I had asked about
That to
years
look
ago.
nicer.
Yeah.
And I think,
So there's no restriction on apartments, the current proposal. Was bars, marijuana, retail, medical facilities, pawn shops. Bail bonds, furniture and appliance stores. Non-profit organizations and banks. Non-independently owned establishments and used car lots.
okay. All right, I just, for some reason, I thought that apartment
We had
was
an
were,
application in the past that wasn't seen through. That was mixed use, so there was commercial over here and there was residential over here, side by each on the same property. Owner operator occupied, and that became an issue. Just from the perspective of the TIF committee and wanting to move forward.
okay, I can't remember the specifics. but
Yeah,
I-
and so when Robbie
for
had
some
asked me to
reason I
review the
was-
application, one of the things I said to him was, you wanna make sure that you're able to commit that you're not gonna be occupying this, you are doing this as a housing opportunity.
Uh-huh, yeah,
And.
Yeah.
Very commercial enterprise.
Right, I understand.
He's living there and paying his mortgage, so.
Right, right.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Do you have any other contractors working with you?
I didn't get any other quotes for this project. The property minders is the person I use to do the windows, and I've worked with them really closely.
Uh-huh,
I think that's a fair price
Oh,
for the
okay.
amount of work. It's, you know, metal wrap, a lot of work, vinyl siding, fair bit. The roofing is a local, I know it's not based in Maine, but the gentleman that I work with, are based in Norridgewock, right in Norridgewock, right on Route 2 there.
Yeah.
So I work with them together roofing projects. I feel confident in their ability to do the job, they're a larger company. You know, again, it's a fairly large roof, it's 3 stories up, you know, it's not a simple project, so,
okay,
but no, I didn't solicit the quotes for this.
Yeah, no, I think this was more talking about, were you doing all the work or was it?
well, that's what I
Yeah.
thought you.
Oh,
were
no,
doing.
no, so I do a lot of.
And I
myself,
see
right?
property minders, I thought that was you.
No, I do a lot of work myself, a lot harder with Sage over there, it's hard to get away from it.
Yeah.
Just so cute, right? Otherwise she's gonna hit me. But yeah, so I don't love doing the work myself, there's just stuff I can't do, right? I don't have a boom lift, I'm not gonna do the side myself.
Uh-huh,
You know,
okay.
but,
Okay.
you know, mow myself and that kind of stuff, you see me out there.
Well, I have, that's why I wondered if you were
No, it's not,
property minders.
no, ma'am, it's, different company.
Okay.
Without water.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right,
One last.
go for it, go for it. Keep us honest.
Trash disposal, you don't get free trash disposal.
So. It's part of the quote, they have to remove it, there. Was some discussion about how they wanted to do it, and when we did the larger project previously, I worked with, waste management, we brought in the dumpster. It got kind of sketchy there because I was paying for some things, it wasn't getting emptied on time, they were getting upset with me because. You know how,
Fast enough, yeah.
yeah, it was like I was making phone calls and I was holding at work, so I said. You need to take care of this as part of the project.
Commercial enterprises do not have the luxury of free trash disposal in Norridgewock. Commercial enterprises do not have the luxury of free trash disposal. It's for
Okay.
residents.
Yeah, I paid.
If he wants to haul
Okay.
himself, he can do that, but other
Okay.
than that, he has to hire graders
Right,
and graders.
okay.
Yeah, I heard waste management for a can, like the big 30-yard dumpster when I was there, and it was fine, it worked great. I wanted, waste management was phenomenal to work with, but again, it just, between me coordinating with them and coordinating with the contractor,
Okay,
they're gonna take care of it,
For sure.
let them do the work, yeah,
thank you
yeah.
again.
Anything else? All those in favor? Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks for coming
Can't
down.
wait to see
Yeah.
that.
One building at a time.
Yeah,
And that is, I'm sorry, that's 50% of 33,150.
It'll be capped at 25,000.
It will be, okay. All right,
Cool,
good enough.
yeah, thanks guys.
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot. Appreciate it.
Good
Have a good one.
luck.
Hi, Sage. See ya. Nice. Awesome. Well played. Well played. Have a good
See you guys.
We get cheese and beef.
Yeah. Like,
Then we get an update on,
Revolving loan fund. So yeah, I reached out to Christian and asked him to get me an update as to where we are. So they've issued the 2 loans out of our portfolio, Main Laboratories here on Main Street, and then Nickerson Yard Maintenance. Both were used to necessarily leverage expanded funding. And so that's been a good thing. The first payment on the second loan is not due yet. Then the Main Labs is consistently paid on time. So we are helping places right here on Main Drags in Norridgewock, which I think was kind of what the intention was.
mhm, good.
how do we get to 5%? Did we vote on that?
This board made a recommendation and the select board finalized that. didn't want it to be too low, but didn't want it to be too high.
Yep.
And then the only other thing that I did include in your packet, because it would, how much money do we have necessarily, so, the ballpark amount right now is 521. That obviously needs to approve to be reduced by about 48,000, and then down below you have approved expenditures, or forecasted inflows, and that leaves you out at your estimated before this meeting at 585,000 through this year. So that includes your forecasted revenues this fall from taxes that would go into that.
So what's the line sidewalk reconstruction expansion?
So the sidewalk project was what we had initially thought was gonna be the ballpark of 150 to 200,000. And that's been since COVID.
Yep.
And so that's just ballooned to 500. So I don't believe it's gonna be reasonable to fund it. Probably even the majority of it through TIF, but a lot of the project with the sidewalks is in part because of the pipeline. It's high impact to your downtown businesses, so I would expect that down the line, the select board's gonna ask you for a recommendation as to how much you folks are willing to allocate from TIF to put towards that project. As a downtown economic development enhancement. If that project also includes the expansion of sidewalk, not just the rebuild, but the expansion down to Sewell Park or to Ferry Road.
But we're not gonna be on the hook for the whole thing, is kind of what.
I don't, you're not gonna be financially there, but I think the select board's gonna ask you in good faith to say how much you will willing to do. I mean, this was an itemized project in the original TIF, so it's not the fun and exciting thing, I think necessarily, but. There's obviously gonna be the good faith ask to say, how much are we gonna put to a road budget or a special vote? And how much for the draw.
One second. We haven't heard any more from the airport
About,
about the new building there at all.
so no, the airport is in a unique situation where I fundamentally don't believe that it's in the town's best interest to build out a new hangar out there. The payback on that is very much extended in terms of the construction cost upfront and when you get your money back on that.
How much would a new hangar cost?
Oh, it cost at least $500,000, I would imagine, by the time you did all your utilities and it's public to be engineered and. Then you've got lease management after that, and you can't get the height necessarily that folks want for a mechanics hangar or anything like that. I mean, we've got 57 hangars out there right now. And a lot of them aren't being used for aviation purposes. So,
How about the actual building? Where a pilot might come to sleep or whatever for
oh, the terminal building?
the terminal.
So the terminal building, that's kind of just in a holding pattern because the airport doesn't have any money. You know, the airport lost over $30,000 last year. And so we just made a rate adjustment that will take effect July 1st. But the airport's not in any position to be spending extra money on the nice to haves.
Did they get their parking lot?
No, they didn't because the prices on that money's held here on that bottom line. You'll see back in 23 where you approved $50,000. The
Yeah.
budgetary number came in around 80,000.
Uh-huh.
And so what's the value of a parking lot that gets used a couple times a year at $80,000? That's kind of why I had to come back to ask. If you think you want to find another $30,000 and put it towards the parking lot at the airport, we can talk about that. And we can agenda it at the next meeting so that the pilots could weigh in on it, but I think you're gonna have a difficult time selling $80,000 on a
Parking lot.
Right, that's minimal use, we use it to do sewer days. And, you know, you might have one or two other days when folks are actively in that area, so probably gravel maintenance for the traffic that it gets is. The proposal, but I didn't take it off the table because you never know, if asphalt prices change, then it's something that
Right.
maybe we
Like
could
that.
do, if we get the
Yeah.
donation of groundwork, it all helps. But, I'm back to the hangar real quick, I'm one of those believers that. If a private individual won't invest in that. Or something like that, that's not essential, then why would we? The government is here to make investments that don't have an ROI that are essential for the community to operate. So that's why we plow roads, we buy expensive plow trucks, we buy salt, we buy sand because Not because we're gonna get a return on our investment, but because that's what you have to do to have a community, not the nice to haves. And it's the difficult thing because it's an attraction, but
Well, okay,
When is the sidewalk scheduled?
the sidewalk has been scheduled for the last summer, for the last 3 summers.
Right,
It's now been pushed out to next summer. They're attributing it largely to right of way work. The actual survey of Main Street and whatnot. Because they're cutting into people's lawns, they're gonna be putting in retaining, they're gonna be moving all the utilities and things like that.
gotcha.
So that we have ADA compliant sidewalks.
Yep.
Which is one of the tools that fund this.
Okay,
So right now, it looks like they're gonna be doing significant work on Route 2. The state will this year, utilities will be working this year, they'll be doing prep work. Tree removal and things like that this year, if everything goes well, and then the construction should be able to be completed in 2026.
how wide do the sidewalks, how much wider?
I think it's 36 or 42. I mean, you have to think that you're supposed to be able to, you should be able to get 2 wheelchairs to pass, but that's not what they're doing, you know?
I have to say, I don't know that I've ever seen more than 1 wheelchair, rarely.
Right, but the design standards from a federal and government perspective is unusual. It's not gonna be 72 inches wide. It could be 42 or 48 inches wide. You know,
I think two strollers.
I was gonna
pass
say, right
every
now,
time.
one stroller is
Right.
tight.
Right.
And then we've asked them to pull the poles back, which is an intrusion on some folks, but
Yeah,
we pull the poles back because we can't maintain our sidewalks right now. We can't clear the sidewalk in front of Skowhegan Savings Bank right now. Because of the location of the pole, not to mention you've got a pole that's tipped over in this conduit that's servicing the bank on that pole.
They're not, are they gonna put the pole back on the other side of the street that got pulled down as well?
I don't think so.
I didn't think
No,
there was a
so it's
reason,
relocate, right?
yeah,
But that pole that's Brent, by the
yeah,
bank,
they're having to go out onto their lawn and
Right.
it made a mess of their lawn.
because the bank has to, it's the bank's responsibility now. They're the last ones attached to that pole.
Oh,
And that provides them all of their utility services coming off from that conduit.
Hmm.
And it doesn't make sense for them to do that and then do it again.
and then move the pole on the other side of the sidewalk, right?
So that's the conundrum. that we're in.
Most of our poles are right in the sidewalk, they're paved right around. Next to the road.
it's the bank's responsibility to what?
The bank has a conduit that comes off from that pole.
The broken pole,
Yes,
so they have to,
they would have to relocate all those utilities onto the new one, so they would hire somebody. Come in and rerun and reattach a conduit to that new pole.
before this all can be removed.
Yes,
So the reason the broken pole that looks god awful is there is Scotia.
yes. I don't know if they've been approached, DOT has just, DOT told me that they weren't asking anybody to do it, they got all the utilities off of it, except for that private service.
will the new sidewalks be on both sides of the road
Yes,
or just?
yep. They are right now.
Right,
Well, I knew they were, I didn't know if they were gonna widen them on. I guess they.
Yeah, so there's widening, I mean, it's not all widening. But you're also gonna experience bump outs, like I think it's by the Baptist church where there's that crosswalk,
Yeah.
people start to gain some speed, they're bumping it out as a common measure. So you're gonna have a little bit of an island kind of that's gonna come out and create that added delineation. So there you'll have 8 or 10 feet on each side at those areas. It's also an effort to get people
I
to
hate to
stop
say
parking in
it.
the crosswalk.
But the purpose of this program was to make the downtown more attractive
Mhm.
and. Whoever owns
So
those buildings
But
is
the,
not working with
but-
us, and then this is just gonna make. And who's gonna wanna live on Main Street anyway, when
So
the
the-
traffic is this close to your
so the
house?
facade program is the facade program. The funding that would support the sidewalks is the TIF
Right,
in
I
general.
understand it,
So the TIF in general is the
Completely
larger, the facade is just a very small nugget of what the TIF is intended to fund. The TIF is intended to help build the fire station, to support regional fire training, to run sewer line extensions, all of those things.
right,
And sidewalks is a big component of that, the expansion of sidewalks. And it's to stimulate economic activity. But I don't think that our plan, and that's gonna be something that there'll be a comprehensive plan announcement or formally soon, but where do you wanna see your town in 10 or 15 years.
Right,
And do you want to see residents on that lower end of Main Street? And I think that's a big point of contention right now. I think it's not all there, but, you know, when you talk about that, right, when you get there, the businesses, should there be housing there? On street level, it's a,
and if there is,
be a lot of discussion, interesting discussion about that.
what kind of housing with the sidewalks coming right, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? It just makes the whole thing less attractive.
Well, the sidewalks aren't gonna get any closer to anybody's houses.
You said they have to cut into their.
Well, in certain places they will, I mean, across the street from the bank, there's a bank there. They're gonna cut that bank out, so rather than have it slope down, it'd actually be easier to maintain, should be more aesthetically pleasing. And when you put a small retaining wall in and create a more level yard for somebody. It'll add a lot more dimension, we're gonna put granite curbing in, will it allow us to put granite curbing in? Your lighting's all gonna be upgraded. That's all part of the project. You won't have the traditional ugly streetlights anymore, and you won't have this, the streetlights that we got in the late 80s downtown, the black ones with the black shade on them kind of thing that work sometimes and don't work others, those are all gonna be gone. We'll have
Well, we
matching,
chose
correct,
what lighting we thought would look nice.
right, and those will be the
4
lights
years
that will
ago.
consistently, they'll consistently be installed up
Yeah.
and down Main Street.
Well. Good luck.
There's only so much money that you folks could spend here without agreement from owners, and you're not allowed to spend
Right,
largely on residential.
Yeah.
Owner occupied properties, and so when you have resistance to,
yeah,
people don't like to be told what to do,
Right.
people feel that sometimes.
right. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, you'd be talking about zoning, I mean, to change use, right? I mean, like, if you don't want residential on the first floor, like, that's a zoning thing, right? Like,
Largely. Or it's acquire and redevelop. Right? I mean, this is the apartment at the corner of Welch Street and Main Street.
Yeah.
At the tracks.
Yeah.
More than 50% of that structure is on public property. It's not actually owned by the individual.
Gotcha.
So those are opportunities down the line, if that's where the town decided to go, or the state decided that they wanted to go,
Mhm.
that you could theoretically make an offer and say, well.
Hmm.
Mhm. No, you don't want needless acquisition and you don't want to eliminate housing stock,
Sure,
but
yeah.
maybe some.
Huh. Cool,
Okay.
anything else? Darren? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.